Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. So I'm jumping on a thread tonight. The topic tonight was came actually from Mercyful Metal, from Thomas over at his channel, and the subject is pick 10 records where the title track is the best record on the album, or where the title track is the best song on the album, obviously. And I thought it was going to be really easy. I was like, oh my god. Because there are a couple that came to mind right away, but then as I went through it, it was a little bit harder. Because there was a lot. It's not so much there were so many records where the title track was not the best song on the album. It's more like there were a lot where either it was really, really debatable, or where the record I had in mind was an EP or something. It kind of felt like cheating, you know? Yeah. But I found 10, and we're going to talk about them, and they're all metal records, and in Thomas's honor here, as you're going through these, I'm listening to a fucking total Mercyful Metal record. This is a band called No Quarter. I just got this kind of recently because it made my Spidey Sense tingle. Kind of has that private look to it, you know? I mean, look at these fucking guys. And, I don't know, I kind of like this record a little bit more every time I listen to it. And when I first got it, I was like, it's okay, but not, like, incredible. But the more I listen to it, the more I like it. There are just a lot of little things to like about this record. I mean, the songs are totally passable. The singer is, I don't know, a little nasal for my taste, which is funny, because there's probably way more nasal ones that I can deal with, but, his Zeppelin influence is really obvious. They even do a Zeppelin cover on here. They're not really hiding that anyway, but it really sort of comes out. Lots of keys, but like the lead guitar work is really good on this record. That's not normally something that I isolate as something really specifically about a record that I dig, but I'm really into it on this one. And just overall, man, the songs are good. The things about this record that make it less than perfect are also things that kind of make it charming and like fun to listen to. You know what I mean? Yeah, so this record's 1988, and they seem to be from somewhere around Chicago. And like I said, I'd never heard of these guys until pretty recently. It has a hype sticker on here. It contains the hit singles and it has 3 titles, which seems a little bit funny because. Like I said, I had never heard of them before. And this kind of style of music, I've kind of heard of a lot of things. Even if I don't necessarily know the record, at least I've heard of it. Anyway, yeah, No Quarter. Alright. So let's go through these. And I don't even know what order I'm going to do these again. I'm not super organized, because, that's not really my strong suit. But this one I can definitely pull out because Heavy Metal Breakdown is my favorite song on this record. And this is really a fantastic record anyway. It's a little bit of an oddball with regard to the Noise catalog from this point in time, because in case you don't know, it's a German band, relatively early Noise release. I don't know when this came out, it doesn't say right here. I want to say it's like 84-ish, something like that. Yeah, I don't see it on the label either right off. I might be missing it, but anyway, they're these guys are really more sort of like I don't know. I guess you can compare them to like an Accept, but it's more like if a band like they have more of a thrash sensibility about them than Accept ever did. You know what I mean? They sort of have the Noise sound without having the Noise speed level. Okay, like if you listen to most of the Noise releases around that time, a lot of them are kind of like, speed thrash stuff. And this one's really a mid-paced record all the way through. But man, the songs are just great. Headbanging Man is a great song, Back from the War. Even the ballad Yesterday, that could have been terrible, but it's not. They do a cover of 2,000 Light Years from Home by the Stones, which is totally passable, It's not the greatest song on here, but it's about as good as a Stones cover is ever going to be on a metal record. And, and look, they're wearing those fucking robes on the back, too, so they get extra bonus points for that. So yeah, Gravedigger though. Heavy Metal Breakdown is still the one that takes the cake for me. Absolute winner. Let's see. I'm gonna try and break it up a little bit. Let's stay in Chicago. It was a no quarter record. It was from Chicago, and not the Gravedigger one. But fuck it, this one's from Chicago. This is Nothing to Do But Rock by Hammeron. And it's really kind of close between Silent Victim, Nothing to Do But Rock, and Sands of Fire on this one for me. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Nothing to Do But Rock. You know, the hook on Silent Victim might be a little bit better, but Nothing to Do But Rock just hangs in there. I mean, it's just, that's just the one that wins, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's another record that I absolutely love. It's got a lot of cheesy bits to it. You know, some sort of sound effects. Why Lie is kind of a particularly corny song. Jealousy kind of has some of that too. Just sort of that like commercial sensibility they were going for at the time. When did this come out? 86. You know, they were going for the radio play, which maybe they got a little bit in Chicago, but I never heard of it until a lot later. But you know, that was just the time. It's like, it's the sort of thing where if you want to hate this record, you can find reasons to do it. But if you want to sit back and just let it be itself, it's awesome, man. I really love this thing. So, yeah, Nothing to Do But Rock by Hammeron. Alright. There's not some writing on the sleeve, so I'm going to take it out. But, yeah, this one, man. Fucking Possessed. Seven Churches. I mean, not Seven Churches. Beyond the Gates. Seven Churches. That one would have been hard to pick one song. You know? I think the title track is a candidate. If it doesn't win hands down, God, could argue about that all day. But on this album, which is kind of a cleaner record all the way through, and overall, I don't think the songwriting is at the same level as it is on Seven Churches. You know, this has some songs on it that are a little bit, you know, they're not really the same sort of earworms and that sort of thing. But the title track, man, Beyond the Gates, might be my very favorite song by Possessed overall. It's such a weird riff, such a sort of menacing approach. The way the vocals are delivered is kind of rough, and you know, sort of reinforce the whole, like, I don't want to say menace again, but the whole sort of just like evilness of it. You know, it's just an absolutely great song. So yeah. And this is the original fold-out cover. This weird sort of landscape. I'm always afraid to try and unfold these things while I'm holding it up, because I don't want to drop the thing all over the place, you know. But yeah, there it is. Opens up again at the bottom, so fuck it, let's just go for it at this point. Yeah, so this is what they spent that whole budget on. You see that? There's like that little guy singing at the bottom. You know, it's kind of a cool, like, desolate wasteland, hellish something, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it really warrants the whole, the treatment that it got, but you know something? I don't care. It wasn't my money. And the record's absolutely great, you know. If you're only going to get one Possessed record, it should definitely be Seven Churches. But this record, I would say, is worth it for the title track alone. In fact, this one, if I had to pick, if I were going to rank these records in terms of how strongly I feel about my pick, this one would be pretty close to the top of the list. Yeah, maybe I'll swap out the thing one of these days, because there's that writing on there, but, you know, whatever, it's protecting the jacket. That's what I care about. Sort of alternating between the more and less known ones I get. This is a really great record too. This is on the French label Dream Records, who put out, they're really hit and miss actually, Dream. That Excess record that I showed in my last video, that was on Dream. This one is on Dream, it's also great. But they also did that Megatac record, which is really pretty lousy. Sort of a weird mix between like American and French bands too. I think there were some license deals. Like, I'm pretty sure that Dream did a license of the New York record. The band was called New York. The band was actually from South Carolina, but they were called New York. And you know, it's kind of a fun record, but not a great pick. I mean, if I were going out of my way to license shit from overseas, that's not the first place I'd go for. Is fucking New York, you know. But anyway, this is a really cool record, and I think the song "The Future Is Now" is great. I really do. It's sort of it captures this sort of feeling, like it's sort of like you're going through a tunnel when you're listening to it. You know what I mean? But it's like you're going through a tunnel in the chorus, and then it sort of gets to the end and it opens up. You know? It's kind of hard to explain, but I guess that's what always happens when you're talking about something like music. Something is ephemeral. How about that shot of the singer too? He's belting it out so hard that he has to hold the mic way back here. I gotta love it. When did this come out? I want to say it's 86. Oh, I don't see it. It's right around there, though. Within a year or two. And as far as I know, this band was from Connecticut. But as far as I know, this record never came out in the U.S. It only came out on the Dream label in France. So I think there's been a reissue of it, too, more recently. Maybe on one of those Greek labels. It's been doing a lot of reissues. Maybe High Roller, but I think it was one of the Greek labels. But anyway, check it out if you get a chance. Alright, so here's one. Yeah, it almost couldn't be more obvious. Bark at the Moon is my favorite song on this record. And pretty handily, too. I mean, and there's some really good songs in here. It's funny, I didn't like this record at all when it came out. And, like, later on, I don't know. I came around on this record in a big way within the last 10 years. I started coming around on it maybe 20 years ago, but that was already long after the record had come out, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, it just took me a while to win me over. I really like the song Spiders. I made a point of getting the import pressing, because that's not on the American version. Yeah, the 1983, you know, there's some good songs. Not everything on here is a banger, but overall, this is a really good record. Well played, well performed. Not as slick sounding as The Ultimate Sin. I mean, they definitely have plenty of money in the production budget, right? But it doesn't have that sort of sheen and that sort of, I don't know, man. That sort of like 80s like cokehead feel that The Ultimate Sin does. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, I don't know, it's like your head is like wrapped in glass or something, you know? But anyway, Bark at the Moon is a great song, man. If there's one song off this record that I'm going to catch myself whistling at the urinal or whatever at work, it's going to be Bark at the Moon, you know? Awesome song. And a really good record, too. I really like that record. I don't talk about Ozzy all the time, because I figure if you're watching this channel, you probably know you're Ozzy. Alright, here's another one. God, this is kind of a tougher one. All right, no, I'm pretty sure though. My favorite song on this Manila Road record is Crystal Logic. And I actually confused myself. I thought I'd pull out the Roadster press, but this is actually the Black Dragon pressing. They sound really different from each other, so I've talked about that elsewhere. I won't need to, but this one's a lot brighter, and because it's so much brighter, it sounds even weirder than the Roadster press. The Roadster is probably better, but this is the one that won me over, so, I don't know. It also came out on blue vinyl, which wasn't very common in 83 when this came out. But anyway, awesome record. I could kind of do without the hit. I mean, which wasn't really a hit anyway, but that Feel Like This song, which for some reason they left off the track listing on the French one. But it's on here. It's just not listed. But, that one's not exactly a banger, but it's not so bad that like you have to get up and like move the needle forward or something like that to skip over it. It's fine. It's just not as good as Necropolis or The Riddle Master or Dreams of Eschaton or, I mean, pretty much anything else. How can you argue with a song called The Veils of Negative Existence? But title track is probably my favorite. Crystal Logic. Great song. Has all that sort of epicness going, and it's a relatively short song for something as sort of, big in scale as it is, All right. This one's not an original, I'll tell you right now. This is the Eat Metal reissue that I'm about to show, but Black Death by Brokus Helm. This is a very good record. I'm not the Brokus Helm fan that some people are. There's some people who are like hardcore, like devotees of this band, like the way I kind of am with Manila Road. I do really like Brokus Helm, though. This is a really good band, really cool record. When I was living in San Francisco, they were playing around the area a fair bit too, so I got to see them more than once, and they always put on a great show. These guys totally delivered. And in fact, they kind of got me to go back and listen to their records again because I like their shows so much, you know what I mean? If there's one song that I'll get in my head, I want to put on of this one. I mean, it could be Satan's Prophets. It could be The Chemist. What a great name. It could be Prepare for Battle. But for me, it's always Black Death. Yeah. Yeah, just a great song. Kind of a weird, not sure how to articulate it. It's kind of a weird, the way the phrasing is written in the verse is unusual. In a way that you probably have to listen to for it to really make sense. So I think I'm just going to leave it at there. But it's like the phrasing, which is in the vocals, but it's also in the writing overall. Like the way a line is delivered, and a line is delivered, and a line is delivered, and then it sort of puts a period at the end of it. And then it sort of picks up again fresh at the next verse. And it's a really unusual way of approaching the songwriting, and it just sticks with me, man. So, yeah, Brokus Helm, great record, great band, and Black Death is my favorite song. Alright, this one was actually not that hard for me. Because even though I love this whole album, I think Hell Awaits is probably my favorite song. Not just probably. Hell Awaits is my favorite song, or else it wouldn't be in this video. You're always kind of overdoing it with the Robert Plant just a little bit in the vocals. But it's a nice riff, it's kind of meaty. It's not the heaviest thing ever. But it's not like some wimpy shit either, Anyway, fucking Slayer, one of the greatest records ever. I mean, Hell Awaits. I mean, how can you not love this? The first three Slayers to me are just absolute perfection, really. But if I had to pick one song off this one, I love At Dawn They Sleep. Hardening of the Arteries is probably my favorite song title. I love Praise of Death. I love Kill Again. But Hell Awaits. Just that, between that opening, which is just so, like, intense. With the, I mean, not the backward shit, but, like, once they actually start, like, the musical intro to the song. And then, like, the way he just spits out the chorus in this really sort of unorthodox way. Or the pre-chorus, I guess it is. And the Hell Awaits, Awesome shit, man. Just such a great song. Alright. It's funny, I feel like there's a lot sort of at the front of the alphabet, but this one's from 85, Black Knight, Canadian band this time. And my favorite song on this one is Master of Disaster, which is the title track. I guess this is an EP, which I said I wasn't going to do before, but this one's long enough I didn't feel like I was cheating. When it's like 3 songs, then I kind of feel like I'm, then I kind of feel like I'm doing some bullshit, but I'll forgive myself on this one. Yeah, just a great record. It's really solid. Every song on this thing is great, but the one that sticks out in my head again is Master of Disaster. Just a great hook, really sort of easy to listen to. And I'm actually going to throw it on for a minute because this one's done anyway. we go. So when I'm not flipping through all the records, I don't lose my shit so much in here. But something I kind of love about this is when like you get these old like plain inner sleeves that are kind of yellowed with age a little bit. Like I'll repair these sometimes. They have splits in them, even though it's not like I don't have sleeves to swap it out with. If it's too far gone, then okay, fine. But like I kind of dig the yellowing a little bit. Yeah, I'm actually going to. Try to decide if I want to put on a Master of Disaster. No, I'm just going to start at the beginning. The hell with it. You can just take my word for it. Once you hear how good this is, then you'll want to go and hear Master of Disaster on your own. Anyway, it's a great record. Really sort of big and bombastic. But performed by a relatively small band. I think they were a 4-piece. They might have been a 5-piece. How many were there? No, they did have 2 guitars, so it was a 5-piece. But what they didn't have was an enormous production budget, Like if you hear that, like all the sort of, size and sort of grandiosity to it is all in the writing. You know what I mean? It's not in like effects and like delay and shit like that. It's all just in the writing. They could have played this shit live, and they probably did. I haven't listened to this in a while, actually. It's a really good record, man. And look at this fucking cover. I mean, come on, I live for shit like that. Yeah, where are these guys from? I don't remember what part of Canada. Oh, Vancouver. Of course. What's funny is years ago I made a video that was like, it was actually sort of a little tribute to Spud Boy, because those who've been doing this YouTube thing for longer than a few years might remember a channel called Guess I'm Just a Spud Boy. The guy's name was Ottavio. And he had this series that was called It Came From Canada, So I did that, and I made a video called It Came From Canada. And it was like records from coast to coast. But I couldn't think of anyone from British Columbia, so I was like coast to almost coast. I only got as far as like Calgary. And then I was like, how the fuck did I forget this one? That just happens, It's a great hook too, isn't it? Anyway, fantastic record. Master of Disaster is my favorite song. And the last one. This was actually the first one I thought of. And depending on when you catch me, this one might be a little bit questionable, but it was still the first one I thought of. That's Restless and Wild, man. Such a great song, man. I mean, that's like one of the all-time great heavy metal choruses, the chorus to Restless and Wild. And I almost just want to leave it there. I mean, it's such a heavy song. If you don't know Accept, pause the video and go listen to some Accept, because you need to have listened to them, Not only because they're great, but also because they were early and German and like kind of, even to this day, don't quite get the due that they deserve for like their influence on metal. Because in 1982 or whenever this came out, this was the heaviest thing around, Yeah. My second favorite song on this would probably be Ahead of the Pack, and my third favorite would probably be Flash Rockin' Man. But again, Princess of the Dawn is up there too. Great record, man. Absolutely great record. And Restless and Wild is always going to be my favorite song on this, I think. But these things can always change. In fact, you want to see an example of how these things always change? Or is I've been listening to a lot of metal still, but I'm sort of mixing it up. I've been listening to like a lot of, I've listened to a lot of Nazareth. And when I was on Patrick's stream just a few weeks ago, the subject of Nazareth came up. And I really like Nazareth. But one of the things me and one or two other people talk about is how the album Hair of the Dog is really good, but we never wanted to hear fucking Love Hurts again. And it was brought to my attention there. It might have been by Patrick, it might have been by someone else, that wasn't on the European version of the album. It's only on the American version. So I immediately ran out and found a copy of this. And so now I have, it says printed in England. I think it's actually an Irish pressing. But the point is, this one doesn't have Love Hurts on it. And it's great. I love this fucking record. It's everything that I ever wanted this record to be. It is, you know what I mean? Because what I wanted it to be was the same thing without that other fucking song on it, without Love Hurts. So this has an alternate song on it instead. I don't even care, you know? As long as I don't have to hear that other fucking piece of shit, it's fine. So I've been listening to a lot of Nazareth. But as far as things changing, there's another one that I just heard relatively recently for the first time. And Eric Bauer, good man, subscribe to his channel, High Defamation TV. He made a video a while back when I was on sort of like, not just goth, but sort of like dark, like new wave shit, like the dark shit. I don't know, that just that kind of stuff. I was listening to a lot of like Killing Joke and that sort of thing. And I mean, you can go back and watch the videos, you know. But he made a video sort of recommending a few things, because he's deeper into that stuff than I ever have been. And one of the ones he recommended was Modern English. And I was like, man, you put me onto some good shit in the past, across different genres. And, you know, but Modern English, man, all I remember was that hit, I Melt With You. I hate that song. I hate the album cover of that record. And just the whole, like, 480 presentation is just not really my taste, you know what I mean? I mean, there's some good shit on 480. I'm not here to, like, sit here and just shit on 480 categorically. I mean, the fucking Pixies were on 480, right? Actually, another thing we talked about recently is like, okay, I really hate the 480 art style. I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me at all. Even though there's some great bands on there. We had a conversation about whether Raymond Pettibon might have, if he had done the art for the Pixies, how that would have been. If your first thought is, that's fucking crazy, think about it again, because I think it could have worked. Like, imagine their whole, like, image if instead of what it was with the 480 art, it had been Raymond Pettibon. I'll bet half of you hearing me say this are going to end up agreeing with me. The other half are going to think I'm completely full of shit. Anyway, I hate the 480 like art style. I hate that record cover. I hated the video. I hate the band name Modern English. Well, I heard a song off this fucking thing. I didn't know who it was and went, holy shit, that's really good. Who is that? And when I found it was Modern English, I ran right out and bought it. So this is the album before. I actually saw a copy of After the Snow at the shop just a week ago, and I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But I really like this record a lot. And if you had told me, I mean, 20 years ago, absolutely, but hell, 1 year ago, if you had said you're going to buy a fucking Modern English record in 2024, I'd have been like, you're full of shit, dude, fuck you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Do you know, have you ever, like, seen my collection? Fucking no way. Well, here it is, you know? There it is. So once again, I have lived and learned and hopefully matured just a little bit, although I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on that. Yeah, and I guess that's about all I've got for today. So, hope you enjoyed it. It's 10 records where the title track is the best song on the album. And yeah, subscribe to Mercyful Metal if you're not already. Awesome channel, lots of fun. And the guy has some good shit. He stumps me too, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it.